Hey guys, welcome back to King Game Reviews. I am the King and here again to bring you another review, and today it is Doom 2016. That's right, let's get started. Now, I freaking love Doom. Doom as a franchise is epic. I've played Doom 1 and 2. I'm not the biggest fan of those games, but I'll tell you what I am a big fan of, Doom 3. Yeah, you may think I'm crazy, but I actually love Doom 3 because it was the first Doom I ever played. It's incredibly nostalgic to me. So when that BFG edition came around, I bought it, played all the games in the DLC packs. And if you look at the lost chapters of Doom 3, it kind of seems like they're trying to approach it in the right direction that was setting up for Doom 2016. Those levels felt a little more action-packed. So when I heard Doom 2016 was coming out and it was going to be the next big thing, it was going to be something so epic, I pre-ordered that game, I picked it up, and it did not disappoint. I will tell you that right now. So if you're wondering whether to get it or not, go get it. If you want to hear the rest of the review, sit down. The story for Doom 2016. Okay, seriously, we're going to talk about the story in this game? Okay, fine, we will. That Doom guy, a human MacGuffin that they just found in hell, they bring him over. He's revived when all hell is breaking loose on Mars. Taking over the facility, you can assume everybody's dead. And Doom guy just wakes up and he's like, well, I gotta kill them all and send them back to hell. And so he does. He picks up a gun and just starts punching faces in and shoving bullets down their throats. That's the story. There's a bit more with codexes and you can kind of piece it together yourself. It's not important though. What's important in this game? Shooting monsters in the face with shotgun. And the main character, Doom Guy, let me tell you something about the main character, Doom Guy. He's one of the coolest characters I've ever seen. He is such a self-aware character of how badass he is. He doesn't care what anybody else says. And the best example of that is something that happens at the beginning of the game. In the beginning of the game, Doom Guy finds his legendary armor, he pops it on, and then this bad guy, this bad corporate guy starts talking to him, and he's like, look, we can solve this problem if we all just work together about this. And Doom Guy just rips it out. He's like, fuck you, and starts shooting stuff in the face. He doesn't care what this guy says. He's gonna stop the demons any way possible. He doesn't care. And what's great about him, you cannot negotiate with this guy because he was born to slaughter demons. He is just the perfect badass to put yourself into so you can just shoot the minions of hell again and again and again. It's just great. So let's get right into the gameplay. Doom 2016 is one of those perfect marriages of a retro throwback and a modern FPS. It is a rare title that mixes both of them together. It pays so many tributes to the original Doom while never really stepping over its toes of a modern FPS. I'm gonna put it like this. Doom Guy is always running at full speed. He never slows down one bit. He can hold, I don't know, 12 weapons on him, and you can switch between them at any time, just like classic Doom. Doom Guy has an unlimited supply of grenades that just randomly regenerate for him to throw. The game throws hundreds of enemies at you for every single level that you just slaughter with ease. Not really. Doom 2016 is a pretty freaking hard game, so forget the with ease part. There ain't no mercy in this game, especially if you crank up that difficulty setting. There is no regenerating health in this game, which I love. It's so kick-ass. One thing I hate about modern day FPS is, with the exception I think Titanfall 2 made that rare leap, is that regenerating health sucks. I hate it that you have to sit behind a wall forever. Doom 2016 is like, nope, you just gotta be fast, circle straight for enemies, dodge their fire, and just shoot, shoot, shoot. If you're getting low on health, you better pray there's a health pack nearby. Or better yet, the glory kill system. Doom 2016's glory kill system was an ingenious idea, not just to give a little extra gore to the game, but to help balance it so you can waste as much ammo, health, and armor as you want. Because think of this, you're wasting all the ammo on your favorite gun. Okay, fine. You get in, you pull out your pistol and you start popping shots at a weak enemy near you and he starts glowing. You get close to him. You activate that glory kill. You rip him to shreds. And then they drop tons of ammo. Refills your gun and you're back in the saddle just shooting away. It drops health. Believe they also drop health too, and you're regenerating. You're good to go. This game has more in common with classic Doom than it does any modern day game it has ever made. So rage Ain't it happening? Doom 3? It is not. This is Doom. Classic Doom remade for modern day. Although there are quite a few modern touches they added. For one thing, platforming. You heard me right. Doom 2016 actually has some platforming in it. As you're running at full speed, you can do a jump and eventually double jump in the game to climb platforms. There's even an entire level where you have to do this, which is pretty cool as you can jump over at certain enemies. You can circle strip around, jump around a corner. It's easier to maneuver, so you can make it a little more fair to fight the tougher enemies on those higher difficulty settings. But it's also a genius idea, so you can look for collectibles in harder to find and harder to reach areas. The collectible system in this game is so awesome. It's so fun to just find these things. Not just the really cool ones that I'll get into in a second, but you can find audio logs, you can find little Doom guy figures that give you like rendered models of enemies and weapons in the game. You can find upgrading chips to make Doom Guy more invincible, so you can get 200 health, 200 armor, and you can get tons of secondary fire for all your guns. Like one of my favorites is the shotgun. The shotgun has a grenade launcher secondary fire, and it has a rapid fire, so the thing can hold 3 shots at once, and then when you release the trigger, bam bam bam, it just fires them in a row of 3, which is awesome. I would say in some cases better than the grenade launcher. And that's just the shotgun. Every single weapon has a secondary fire, and you can upgrade them even further. If you meet certain conditions for certain weapons, you get a special thing. And let me say, you're gonna need it. But first, let me go into the last collectible. One of the coolest things is there is a hidden old school classic Doom level in every single stage. It's as if they saw Machine Games putting Wolfenstein levels in the New Order and the Old Blood, and like, we can do that. And they did, and it's awesome, and I love it. It plays just about as good as the Wolfenstein versions did. A little bit kind of garbage, but it gets the job done, and it's a cool little nod. It's just kind of weird that you're fighting these classic Doom enemies with all pixelated, not pixelated enemies. You're actually fighting modern day enemies, but in a Doom style level. It kind of feels different than playing in the new maps, so get ready for that. Speaking of getting ready for it, you better get ready to fight a ton of unique enemies. And I mean it, Doom does not skimp on its hard-hitting, ball-breaking difficult enemy variety. You have your little running guys, you have the piggies, and let me tell you, Pinky in this game, those little pig things that would run at you in the classic games, they don't go down easy anymore. No, they are tough as hell. Hell, you have the Barons of Hell, which are really cool looking. Their redesigns epic, and they're hard to fight, at least in the beginning. You have Revenants, and Revenants, when I first saw them in the trailers, I was like, these guys are going to be hard as hell and badass. Well, they look badass. They are kind of hard if you crank the difficulty up. And if you're not careful, they will lead you into a swarm of enemies and you will get murdered. But let me tell you something, executing those guys, no matter which one you do, it's awesome. You have your giant fat enemies, the Mancubuses. They're just big pot-bellied dudes that have double arm cannons that just fire at you. And those are really cool enemies, quite mobile for fat guys, I'd like to say, and the execution you pull on them is so cool. I'm just going to tell you what it is. You rip the heart right out of their body and you shove it down their throat. It's so cool, and they just explode from it. It's beautifully gory, I gotta say. And with all these enemies, and the fact that you're moving at full speed, the fact that you can double jump, the fact that you have all of these weapons of your variety, the gameplay is so freaking engaging. To a point that I'm in love, man. Like, there's so much, you're constantly moving at full speed, switching weapons, firing away like crazy, dodging enemy fire, dodging enemies from getting close to you. You're just backing up with a shotgun, with a double barrel, with a flamethrower, with a machine gun, opening that secondary fire, lobbing grenades. The game never stops engaging you when the enemies come in, and it has plenty of blood and guts for a gore hound. And the controls, if you're wondering, are fantastic. They feel solid, as they should be, so you have nobody to blame but yourself for dying in the game. Faulty controls are nowhere to be found. And one of the coolest things about this game are the bosses. There aren't a lot of bosses in this game, but there are, I think, 3-4 bosses in the entire game, and they're each epic. They're 100% unique from each other. I think 1 or 2 of them is a throwback enemy, And I'm just going to put it out right away. You do fight a cyber demon, and it's freaking awesome. And the bosses are the most challenging part of the game. Some people said the final boss was a little too easy. For me, it was quite challenging, and I had trouble beating him. So it's all depending on the gamer, and the way you kill each one of them is so badass. You just want to be like, Doom Guy, I love you, Doom Guy. I want to be you. Now, the character and level design in this game is epic. Every single character and enemy, even though it's redesigned for a modern day game, you can tell 100% right off the bat. If you put the sprite and the new modern character next to each other, you're like, yeah, that is him. 100%, no doubt in my mind, that's him right there. And the game, the levels look beautiful. They have that the sci-fi world that Doom has put itself in on Mars looks great. That red mist, the gray palettes. Yes, the gray palettes and all that, but it looks great. And when you get to hell, you go to hell, man. While it wasn't all fire and brimstone like I thought it was going to be, I thought the game was going to be shooting lava walls over the place and a big giant devil was going to fly in the sky, and it wasn't really like that at all. It still was like hell. And kind of one disappointing thing about the game is you're not in hell for too long. Kind of sucks. You're mostly on the Mars base. But you do go to hell, I believe, twice. And keep in mind, I'm going to say this, the hell levels are the hardest in the entire game. Especially that last one was quite an endurance. And there were one or two moments I was like, I'm done. I do not want to play this game anymore. I am rage quitting this right now. But stick with it because it's absolutely worth it to the end. This is the game I didn't mind playing through multiple times to get every single collectible. Find all the hidden weapon upgrades. Find every single Doom level that was in the game. You will never have more fun finding collectibles, I promise you that. Hell, you probably won't have any more fun than in this game playing an FPS. The music in the game, metal. That is all you need to say. Straight up metal. Every time a firefight comes in, metal. Straight up, it's epic, it's heavy, it's fast, and it just represents the firefights in the best way possible. And in terms of cons, well, I would say the campaign kind of just straight up cliffhangs you and throws you away. It's like, sequel baby, it's coming, and just ends. I'm never a big fan of sequel baiting. I absolutely kind of hate that. But aside from that, the campaign is sort of short. It's 7 hours, which is about as long as Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is, it's not too bad, especially when you compare games. Nowadays, FPSs have 4 to 5 hour campaigns. A 7 hour campaign is definitely welcome. And they recently patched in an arcade mode, so you can play through the game to try to beat high scores in leaderboards, which adds a substantial amount of replay value to the game. And not only that, the game has a serviceable multiplayer mode that tries to mix the modern and old. It doesn't really work as well. I'm not really a fan of the multiplayer for me. It's Doom single player campaign all the way. And it's amazing snap map feature where you can create Doom maps yourself and share them with the community. You can make old school Doom maps and new. There's so much variety to this that I wouldn't be surprised if Doom Machinima was right around the corner. Guys, in the end, Doom 2016 redefines what it means to be a retro throwback and a modern FPS at the same time. It has set a standard that a lot of games I don't think can own up to, but I challenge them all to do so. I highly recommend you play this game if you haven't. You owe it to yourself to get this game. And in the end, Doom 2016 gets a 10 out of 10. It's the freaking unicorn of a game, and I'm so glad of all franchises, it was Doom, the game that started the hardcore FPS, coming back and revitalizing the genre. It's one of the best games of the year and is my pick for 2016's Game of the Year. A little late, but you know, there you go. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it when you guys check these videos out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.